Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. In today's video, we're talking about why Kings Canyon should never return as a ranked map. I have 5 points that I want to take you through. And before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself as a player, as who I am as an Apex player. And before we jump into all of that, if you guys do like today's video, drop a like down below. It helps me out a ton. And consider subscribing to the channel if you guys are new, as I do post Apex content every single day. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so who am I? My name's Tony. Currently I am a Platinum player. I have a 1.2 overall KD. I have grinded to Diamond a couple times when I have had the time, but typically I'm in the Plat range, whether it's Plat 4 or Plat 1, I'm somewhere in that range. And I'd like to start just by stating that I like Kings Canyon. I enjoy it. I think it's a very fun pubs map. I think it's fun to be able to run around the map recklessly, have a good time, go for some high kill games. I love it for that. However, for ranked, which is supposed to be more of a competitive game mode anyway, I feel like it takes away from the true competitive experience that ranked is going for. I think that there should be some type of competitive decision making when you're playing ranked, not necessarily just run and gun. Now, I'm definitely not a fan of, rat it out and wait till the end either. I think that if you want to play a run and gun style, that there should be equally as high of a risk as there is a reward. And currently with Kings Canyon, I don't think there's necessarily like a huge risk with running a run and gun type of playstyle. Now, while I don't want to be ratting out the entire game, and I don't necessarily want to just be running and gunning either, because I want there to be some type of decision-making process to happen. The amount of games that I've had that have ended in, Ring 3 or Ring 4, like early Ring 4, it's kind of crazy. So today we're going to talk about why I think Kings Canyon should not return as a ranked map, and we should stick with some of the maps that we have, or potentially the new map that is coming next season. Alright, so let's start with point number 1, and that is really the map size and the map's design. Now, they revamped Kings Canyon for this ranked split, and I do have to say it did help a lot with what happened last time. I do think that the changes that they made are good changes for the map. However, we still are seeing a lot of third plus parties, and that's because it's still the smallest map in Apex Legends. Along with having, obviously, the smallest map, I think there's minimal valuable POIs that have good loot, and you also don't necessarily need to worry about a third party showing up at the same time. Most of the loot-rich POIs are all on the edge of the map, and with the current way the storm system works in Apex, it's not valuable to land there all the time, as you find yourself storm chasing quite a bit. There are a ton of 50-50 off-spawn fights for these loot-rich POIs, which leaves a lot to RNG and not necessarily skill. And not to mention, the middle of the map is an absolute nightmare and either has to be ran through or is a death trap. Alright, point number 2. The current legend pool and specifically the meta legends. The current legends allow for easy movement around Kings Canyon with Valk, Horizon, Pathfinder, Octane, and even Maggie, Vantage, and Loba all have their ways of either helping themselves or mostly helping their team as well get around the map and push and push and push. Now again, I know this is a battle royale. Third parties happen in battle royales. I definitely understand that perspective of the game. However, when we funnel 6 different teams into one area and they're all fighting at the same time, I do think that at that point we have a little bit of a problem on our hands. And I don't think it's necessarily the legends' fault, right? I don't think we should be changing the way the legends function. I do think that we just need to be off of KC, as with the new legends that we have outgrown Kings Canyon as a map. Alright, so point number 3, the storm changes and the storm positions themselves, so the circle positions. I do think this one kind of speaks for itself, however, we are going to dive into it. So I personally like the changes in terms of the damage that the storm does now. So storm 1 ticks like storm 2, storm 2 is the same, and storm 3, so on and so forth. However, the time for the first storm to start closing from 3 minutes to 1 minute, I think is a little bit ridiculous, because you can't really take a fight off spawn if you're far from zone, because you're gonna die, and you also can't even loot the entire POI most of the time because, well, you're gonna die, or you're gonna be caught storm chasing the entire game. The amount of times that I've had to run halfway across the map for Storm 1 it's kind of wild. This also causes you to generally run into teams that are fighting on edge and either holding out, or other teams that are also trying to get in at the same point you are. And with these storm changes, it encourages the run and gun mentality and punishes players harshly for landing on the outside of the map. So in ranked, because it's more of that competitive format, I think we should be trying to take away as much RNG as possible. And in terms of the circle, I think that the circle positions could be better. There's no reason why I should have to run from Crash Site all the way to Caustic for Ring 1. However, I do think the devs are doing the best with what they have, because we definitely want to avoid the middle of the map for endgame, because the middle of the map is just crazy. All right, point number 4, the rank system and the player base. Now, I don't necessarily dislike the rank system. I enjoy having big games. I like seeing the 500 plus RP games. I think that's a lot of fun. However, with the rank system and the way it is, teams will quote unquote run it down and go for these high kill, high reward games without enough of a risk involved with that. I think there needs to be a little bit more risk if we're going to have this type of rank system. And again, I don't necessarily dislike the rank system, but I think it could use a little bit of tweaking. Now, with Kings Canyon being the map that it is and having it very maneuverable, specific loot-rich POIs, this pushes new players to land at places like Relic with 5 other teams, trying to come out on top, only to be shot a couple times by the team that moved in from Octane to sweep them and take all of their loot. Now, I've been both teams here, and when you're the team that is coming from Octane, you probably feel pretty good. However, if you're the team that just battled it out against 5 other teams and won, and then you got shot 4 times because you were low health, whatever it may be, that's not as much fun. And I think that we shouldn't necessarily be punished that way for, winning a fight, right? Now, Apex has more players than ever, which is amazing. And with this influx of players brings a whole new skill level, which is also very exciting. The reason that I bring this up is I think we should be treating our new players to our competitive maps in our ranked format that pushes us in all aspects of the game, not just necessarily gun skill, but also decision making, positioning, and not just narrow us down to one type of playstyle. So essentially, I just think we should treat our new players and give them our best maps, not necessarily the ones that we've outgrown. And to my last point, point number 5, I think the community is tired of it. Apex is over 3 years old, 14 seasons in, and while I can really only speak for myself and maybe the players that I've met online playing the game, I truly believe that the community does not enjoy Kings Canyon ranked. Not anymore. I've met a handful of people that have said that they really do enjoy the map. They enjoy that style of play, and I truly respect that. However, I do think that a majority of us players, both pro and casual and everybody in between, are tired of having Kings Canyon as the map for the ranked rotation. Now, I know that we all get tired of a map as the season goes on, and then we kind of get excited when it comes back. However, I was pretty tired of Kings Canyon after a week, maybe 10 days. Now, these are my opinions. I would love to hear yours. Do you agree or disagree with me about Kings Canyon ranked? If you disagree, I would love to know why, and which of these points that I've brought up do you just flat out either disagree with, and what's your argument? I would love to hear that. And if you agree with me today, what is the point that I made that resonated with you the most? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you guys liked today's video, if you're still around and listening to this, I'm assuming that you did, drop a like down below. Again, it helps me out a ton. Consider subscribing to the channel if you guys are new, as I do post Apex content every single day. I'll see y'all on the next one, and until then, Cheers.
You win? Yeah, you left. Go for you.
Get him! Guys, just res me really quick. Nice! Let's go! GG's, nice call outs, man. Dude, I almost had him too. Almost had him, dude. I was frying him fucking right there too. I was fucking just tearing him up. Huge dub for the lads. Oh yeah, 4, 5, 6 in that order.